2. We're live. Shalom, Israel. All right, beautiful, beautiful. Happy Shabbat Shalom to everybody, both in class and online. So, nevertheless, today's lesson is organization before mobilization. All right? So now the first thing is, with everything that's going on in the community, a lot of people ask themselves, does God see what's going on? Does God see everything that's happening? And if he does, well, where is he? Don't seem like he's doing nothing about it. He just letting it happen, right? But not understanding where the Most High is with it. Get us throughout 23 and 19. I was going to say at 39, huh? Yeah. Get throughout chapter 23, and let's get verse 19. Let's understand something.
The book of Sirach 23, verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men.
Beholding what?
All the ways of men.
So the Most High, he's beholding all the ways of man. He sees everything that's going on. Read on.
Beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts.
And considers everything, even those things that go on in secret. Those things that go on behind closed doors. They say no man knows where the nose goes when the doors is closed, huh? But the Most High, he sees all of that. Get the book of Exodus, chapter 3 and verse 9. He sees it no differently today than he did back then.
The book of Exodus 3 and the 9th verse, it reads, Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me.
The what?
The cry of the children of Israel has come unto me.
See, the Most High, he has always heard our cries. See, the problem isn't whether or not he sees it or whether or not he hears us. Because the same thing when the children of Israel were in Egypt, he heard the cries of the children of Israel, just like how we are now in spiritual Egypt. Read on.
And I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
So now he's even seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppress us. Read on.
Come now, therefore, and I will send thee.
That's actually all I need from there. So now, so the Most High sees it, so then why then does he not do anything? Get the book of Isaiah 59 and verse 1.
The book of Isaiah 59, verse 1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened that it cannot save.
Wait, say it again.
The Lord's hand is not shortened that it cannot save.
His hand is shortened?
It's not shortened that it cannot save.
So the scripture is saying something profound. It said, look, when it comes down to the Most High, his hand is not shortened that it cannot save or help us in our time of need. However, read on.
Neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear.
So likewise, neither his ear heavy to where he cannot hear what is going on upon the earth. Read on.
But
this is the thing, but, read.
But your iniquities.
He said your iniquities. What it is that you're doing has what?
But your iniquities have separated between you and your power.
So you see that? It's our iniquities, our sin that has separated us from the power of the Most High. That's what we have to understand. It is our sin and our iniquities that have separated us from the Most High, and that's put us in a place to where when we call, he does not immediately come to our rescue. He doesn't yield us his strength. That's where we're at. Because there's so much going on, our biggest thing is, man, we got to fight. We got to get back, and it's not necessarily everything, other individuals saying is wrong, but it's how we have to do it. Because understanding the biggest thing is, just like the title, organization before mobilization. A lot of people want to mobilize before they organize. Someone get the definition of mobilization. Let's get, what does it mean to mobilize? We're going to get it here. I know you quite as I looking up. You got it? It's all right. I'll read it right here. Brought it up. Go ahead. You got it? Go ahead.
Mobilization, the action of a country or its government preparing or organizing troops for active service.
Read on. What else you got?
That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Oh, let me read what I got here. All right, so this is mobilization. Verb, it says to assemble or marshal armed forces, military reserves, or civilian persons of military age into readiness for active service. It also says to organize or adapt industries, transportation facilities for service to the government. So now when it says to organize or adapt for service to the government, we have to understand who is our government. What is our government under? And it says to marshal, bring together, prepare for action. It says to increase or bring to a full stage of development. To be or become assembled, organized for war. So when it comes down to being prepared or being organized or being mobilized for war or being in a place to where you're bringing people together for action in a state of war, let's get organization first. So now let's get this in organization. It says the act or process of organizing, the state or manner of being organized, something that is organized. So it says conforming entirely to the standards, rules, or demands of an organization, especially that of one's employer. So now, what is the standard of our organization we're supposed to be conforming to? What's the standard? The law. That's what we're supposed to be conforming to. Get Philippians 2:25. It says, especially that of one's employer. Who's our employer? Who? The Most High. That's who Christ worked for. Christ worked for the Most High. He said, look, I come not to do my will, but the ones who sent me. I come to do my Father's will. Get Philippians 2:25.
Book of Philippians 2, verse 25.
Read it.
Yet I suppose it necessary to send you to Epaphras, my brother and companion in labor.
Companion in what?
Companion in labor.
Companion in labor. They understood they working. And they know exactly who we're working for. Get Matthew chapter 7 and verse 21.
Book of Matthew 7, verse 21.
Read it.
Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. But he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven.
See, that's the thing. He's saying, look, not everyone that saith, because it ain't about hooping and hollering, making a speech, protesting. It's about performing and doing what thus saith the Lord. It says, look, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. That's the key thing. Because enter into that kingdom of heaven, enter in that gate, enter into that city, our rest, that salvation, it comes with our actions. Get Deuteronomy 7:11.
Book of Deuteronomy 7, verse 11. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them.
That's his will. That's how you get in there. By doing and performing his laws, statutes, commandments. You got to keep them, but he said, look, don't just keep them, you got to apply them. Many of us have kept the book, but haven't yet applied what is written for our benefit. So then it does you no good or justice if you never apply what is written. So now, get 2 Ezra 15:9. So the Most High, he will avenge us, however, comes at a cost.
The book of 2 Ezra 15, verse 9. And therefore, saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them.
So the Most High said, look, surely I'm going to avenge these people. The Most High he sees what's going on. He said, look, I am going to avenge you. But read on.
And receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
Because all the Breonna Taylors, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and so on and so forth, brothers and sisters getting killed, lynched, murdered, hung, organs taken out of their bodies, shot, police brutality, all of this. He sees all the innocent blood. He said, look, I'm going to surely require it at the hand of your enemy. But read on.
Behold, my people is led as flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
Because you see what's going on with our people. It's like, you ever see the cattle? They're in a place to where, they're on them farms. And they're in those particular plants, those meat processing plants, but they just getting slaughtered. Delivered up, next in line. That's the same thing happening to our people. Just getting slaughtered. Another black or Latino down. Another black or Latino getting beat. Another injustice in our injustice system, because there ain't no justice in the system. That's constantly happening to us to where we're as the scripture says, that the Most High says, as a flock to the slaughter. Read on.
Verse 11. But I will bring them, Salakia, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues, as before, and I will destroy all the land thereof.
So the Most High said, he said, look, I'm going to once again smite this place, smite this spiritual Babylon, this spiritual Egypt that we're living in once again, just as I did before with the previous Egypt. And I'm going to deliver my people and destroy this place. That's how much that he loves us and cares about it. But read Revelation 18 and 2. I'm going to read Revelation 18 and 2. I'm going to skip down and read verse 5 on down to 8.
The book of Revelations 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
So this place, known as Babylon, has fallen, and it become a habitation. Habitation is a dwelling place. So that's where these things live, a dwelling place of devils, a dwelling place of foul spirits. And a cage is something that holds or retains something. And it says a place to where every unclean and hateful bird, every foul spirit is in a place to where it is maintained in this holding cell known as Babylon, known as America. Now, read verse 5 on down.
Verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities.
So the Most High is saying, look, her sins, her iniquities have reached unto heaven. I mean, the Most High, he's taking note of everything that's done, and not only has it gotten to his ears, but it is, you ever see them cartoons with a newspaper and all the way up to the ceiling? That's how it is with the Most High. There's so much report and documentation on the sins of this place, it's ridiculous. Read on.
Reward her reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double.
So it's saying, look, everything that has happened to us here in America, this place and these people that continue to persecute us have to be rewarded double. It's hard for us to imagine that, because you look at everything it is that we've gone through, you look at, dang, they got to get double of that. That's how the Most High is saying. That's how it has to happen for them. Read on.
Fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am now widowed, and shall see no sorrow.
It said, look, how much this place has glorified herself and lived deliciously off of your back, your labor. It said, look, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her mind, because many Edomites you talk to in their mind, oh, is this America is like an unstoppable force. They dare something to come against me. What's going to stop this place? Read on.
Verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire.
You see that it says her plague shall come in one day. Now this day representing a short dispensation of time that all these things are going to take place. He's saying this ain't going to be something that's going to take, because you look at a lot of wars and how they're fought over years. Years, when you're looking at a lot of these wars and conquering a lot of these territories, they are fought for years. Most of us said, look, it ain't going to take no years. This is all going to come in a day. This is all going to come in a very short period of time. This place is going to be destroyed when I start bringing down judgment. Ain't going to take no campaign going for years, months, or weeks, things. Nah, it's going to happen in a very short amount of time. So now, read on.
For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication.
So now, and it says, it shall be utterly burned with fire. Give Matthew 16 and 27. Because we have to understand this, because the big thing is, we have to know and understand why we're organizing and what we're organizing for. You can't just be in a place to where you try to bring people together and just think everything gonna work. It don't work like that. Give Matthew 16, 27.
Matthew 16, verse 27. For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works.
According to his what?
According to his works.
So Christ is coming to reward every person according to their works. A lot of times we like to think reward is a good thing. Reward don't got to be a good thing. He said reward is what it is that you receive. Usually either for competing in something, signing up for something, or doing something. In this case, he said, look, this is going to be their reward for the evil works that they've done. So now, get 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 9. We're going to read 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 through 11. Book of 2 Peter. We're going to read 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 through 11.
The book of 2 Peter 3 and verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
Because many people find the Most High being slack. When, man, how long it going to be? How long we continue to suffer? Read on.
Concerning his promise, as some men count slackness.
Because some people look at the time being like, man, he ain't even coming no more. Man, he ain't even real. Man, we ain't never going to be out of captivity. Because it seems like it's been such a long time, wickedness has been in a place to prosper. And we haven't seen the redemption that we so desperately need and have longed for. Read on.
But his long suffering to his word.
He said, but look, but what it is that the Most High is long suffering to us ward. That means this is all for us. Why? Read on.
Not willing.
Not willing, meaning he ain't trying to put on his back. It's not his desire, read.
That any should perish.
So it's not his will that any should perish, but what?
But that all shall come to repentance.
That's what his focus is that giving enough time for us to get right. Because if we ain't right, ain't enough outside organizing and mobilizing you can do that is going to save you from his wrath. And everything you do is going to be disannulled if it isn't built upon a righteous foundation. It will not last. It was going to inevitably fail because it was built off of failure. It wasn't built off a foundation that was going to yield lasting success. It's no different than when you look at every leader that we had out of the Black, Latino, or Native American background that has put themselves in a place to be of help unto their people. Every movement, every organization has failed and has not brought forth long-lasting peace in saving us from our situation. For if they did, we would not still be in a predicament fighting for those rights to this day. still fighting, still getting killed. Still a continuous stopping that is not let up. And it seemed like, man, at times it'd be getting worse. Turn on the news every time you turn on the news, one of us getting gunned down or killed. Cops getting off scot-free. That's hell. Even though you don't have to worry about slave master running you down there, you still got to worry about the police. You know, you don't know when they pull you over, this might be your last day. The way things is operating, that's a curse. That is a heavy curse. And then not only then having to worry about the police themselves, but even just Edomites, period. If they find you to be a threat, they fear for their lives. That's how a few people got gunned down. White people just in a place to where, hey, looks like a threat. Let me go stop them. That's happened a few times. So now, from there, read on.
Verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved.
Because look, it's saying, well, look, you know and understand this judgment is coming. Deliverance is coming. The Most High's wrath has not been quenched, but is filled to the brim, ready to be unleashed upon the earth. Seeing all of these things, read.
Seeing all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
This is one of my favorite scriptures because I love it, because it's a constant reminder, because we become numb to so much going on. We become numb to the things getting in the world. We become numb to things in the truth, to where it's easy for us to start to slip away and forget where we're at. We do that like so many times with someone else. We either had our parent do it to us, or we do it to our own kids. We probably, you know, you have to pay attention. That's what we need, because we start forgetting. We start slacking a little bit. You start focusing so much on these sins over here that you forget about these sins over here. You focus so much on some of the bigger ones. We like to say that we start turning to Pharisees. We focus so much on the weirder ones. That's adultery. That's fornication. We forget, well, that's gossiping. That's murmuring. That's talebearing. You gonna correct that? We forget about those things, but you're still in error. Still got to fix yourself. So now, get Ezekiel 3:17. Because this is how the Most High wants us to organize. Get Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17. We're going to read 17 through 19.
Book of Ezekiel 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
Now, understanding the role of a watchman. It's a watchman in reference to what would be in a army or military fashion. A watchman is always been instituted to keep a lookout for any danger or threat to the livelihood of those who he is sworn a duty to protect. Those within the kingdom, within the home, within the castle, within the city. So now he said, well, look, we're supposed to be watchmen over the house of Israel, watching for danger. And that first sign of danger is not physical, but spiritual. That is the first sign of danger. Once again, it's not physical, but spiritual. That is the beginning of the problem and the solution to our predicament. Everything else is a manifestation of whether or not you did or did not do what was required spiritually. Read on.
Therefore, hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me.
So two-part situation. The first part is hearing, listening, understanding the will of the Most High in his words, his laws, and his statutes. And then the second part is going forth and giving your people warning in the commandment from him. Read on.
When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand.
And that's it. When we're in a place to where we're not speaking up, speaking out against the wickedness that we're doing and correcting ourselves, then it leads to a situation where that person will, inevitably, depending on the sin, may die physically in this world or may end up dying spiritually in this world and being placed to where the Most High is going to render forth judgment on them, but that blood can be on your hands. You can be at guilt with that or at fault with that because of what it is that you did or did not do, being your brother, your sister's keeper. Read on.
Yet, if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul.
But guess what I said? You have to give the words that are needed in order for your people to repent, because that's what he's looking for. That's the key in us organizing. Now get Amos 5 and 18. Get Amos 5 and 18. And then we're going to go ahead and get Amos chapter 9 and verse 10 after that.
Book of Amos 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light.
So the first thing he says is, look, well, woe unto those who desire the day of the Lord. Because it seems like such a long time coming. We want that deliverance. However, it's that deliverance comes at a cost. And you have to understand, are you even first right to be delivered? Because anytime you look at deliverance, judgment first has to come before you're delivered. You can't have deliverance if you don't have judgment. Same thing when we looked at the children of Israel in the land of Egypt, they first had judgment brought forth so that they could then be delivered. They would not have been able to have been delivered if they not have had judgment that came first. So likewise, even for this deliverance, there must be judgment. And that judgment comes in accordance to how one is dealt with according to the government, the true government that's supposed to be ruling this world. And that the Most High is going to govern and judge all flesh according to, which are these scriptures. Because even when it comes down to the nation, they still got to live by this. That's why this place is being destroyed for all the wickedness is done. Well, how do we know this place is wicked? We know it by the law. Because the Most High said these are things you should not do. Therefore, they're going to be judged and destroyed. Now get Amos 9 and 10, because here's the other thing, because we have to get right. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get judged along with it. Get Amos chapter 9 and verse 10.
The book of Amos 9, verse 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
Because that's the mindset a lot of people say, well, shoot, man, judgment, this place finally need to go down. It's been, man, so much. I'll be happy when Most High judge this place or God judge this place. But yet and still, not even realizing you might be caught up in that judgment too. And be a victim of circumstance. While you hoping they get it, you get it too. That goes for both those outside the truth of our people, but also those within the truth of our people. Any of us can get caught up through not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments wholeheartedly. Get throughout 16 and 17.
The book of Sirach 16, verse 17.
Read it.
Say not thou, I will hide myself from the Lord.
That's what many start to think. I can hide. How does God see me? You know, how does God see me? All these other people here, he focused on me. Read.
Shall any remember me from above?
He said, they too busy with, am I really that significant? You mean all them ain't no thing that they ain't got nothing else better to do than worry about little old me? Read on.
I shall not be remembered among so many people.
He said, look, hey, all these people out here, how am I going to be remembered amongst all these people? You know how many people there are on the face of the world? I'm just like one out of what? Billions? I mean, that's like you take up like a bucket of sand and you're over there trying to find like one pink grain amongst like, you know, like trillions of other grains in a bucket. Like, what's the odds of really doing that? Read on.
For what is my soul among such an infinite number of creatures?
See that? Say, look, what am I amongst all these people? That's how we start to think. But it's only to our own downfall and our own deception. Get Isaiah 66 and 15. We're going to read Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15 through 17. What the Most High said.
The book of Isaiah 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
So he coming with them chariots. We keep seeing them more and more. Hey, they surveying. We are bringing status reports. This is the situation. This is what's going on. This is what they're doing. All right, this is what we need them to do now. Keep on with it, you know, because that time is coming. Read on.
For by fire and his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh.
He said, look, by fire and by the sword, I'm going to plead with all flesh. Read on.
And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
It says, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Much. A lot. Look at the majority. Going to get put to death. Read on.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord.
Most High Code, he said, well, look, those sanctifying and purifying themselves in wickedness, eating swine flesh, doing abominations, he said, look, I'm going to destroy them, and even down to the little mouse in the corner, I'm going to destroy it. We think we just so insignificant. Most High ain't seeing us. Now he's seeing everything we doing. He said, I'm seeing everything you're doing down to the roach in the back in your closet that you don't even know about right now. That I'm destroying you and that along with it. I'm coming. I always say, you know, this is, you know, they say quiet, you know, like little mouse, things of that nature. He said, look, I'm destroying everything down to the mouse. Ain't gonna exist. That's letting you know how thorough he is and how much he is truly paying attention. Get Luke 19 and 27.
The book of Luke 19, verse 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them.
So he said, look, but those mine enemies, let you know Christ got enemies, and then how are you an enemy unto Christ? Do not doing the Father's will. Do not following these laws, statutes, commandments. Because he said, those which should what?
But those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them.
It says, well, look, in order to reign over someone, you have to have rulership. And with rulership, there comes a kingdom. With that kingdom, there has to become a government or some sort of way to govern the people with laws, statutes, and order. That's what it is when he says, they desired not that I should reign over them. They desired not that I should bring forth this government that they must follow. All of those who are opposed to my government, my regime, which is backed by these scriptures, by these laws. Read on.
Bring hither and slay them before me.
That's where he's at. Like it, love or hate it. It's a fact, not opinion. So now, get Revelation 18 and 4. Going back to Revelation, let's get 18 and 4.
Book of Revelations 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Because that's the thing. He said, look, with all this, come out of her. Come out of this place. Disconnect from the wickedness and the abominations of where you are. Read on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
That's the thing, that you be not partakers of her sins. That's why he's saying, come out of her. That you are not partakers of her sins. Read on.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
Because if you're in a place to where you're still connected spiritually to this place and still partakers of the iniquities and the sins of this place, then you're also going to be a partaker of the destruction and the judgment that comes upon this place. It's a package deal. So as much of our people want to say, man, judgment and, people be hooping and hollering in the church and God gonna destroy the God judge, things of that nature, but God gonna destroy you along with it because you ain't right. You so focused on what it is that Esau doing to your people, you're not even looking at what it is you doing to your people. So now, what do we do? What do we do? Got to fight. Got to know what God wants. Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Got to build. Got to fight the way the Most High wants us to fight and get right first. Deuteronomy 10 and 12.
10 verse 12. And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
Because that's the thing. What does he require of us to have him on our side? You all look at everything. You see all these movies that show, look at all these power things in nature. You always want that person on your side. You always hope they're the good guy. See something supernatural, you always hope they're the good guy. They're on my side. How can I get them on my side? Well, how can you get the creator of heaven and earth on your side? Better than in turn. We'll fight for you. He'll fight for you. How to get him on your side. Read on.
Require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him.
That's the thing, to walk in all of his ways. That is love. Read on.
And to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul.
Making that a focus. Now from there, it's knowing how to build. Get Psalms 127 and 1. Got to know how to build. The book of Psalms, chapter 127, we're going to read verse 1.
Psalms 127, verse 1. Except the Lord build the house.
Except what?
The Lord build the house.
So except the Most High build the house, read.
They labor in vain and build it.
They labor in vain that build it. Your labor is always going to be in vain no matter how much you do. You can have the best and whatever it is you want to have. You can have the best trained individuals. You can have the most studious individuals. You can have the most trained children, the most studious children, the most trained women, the most studious women, the best cooks, the best lawyers, the best businessmen and women. You can have whatever it is you think of, but if you don't have the Most High building the house, you labor in vain that build it. Read on.
They labor in vain that build it, except the Lord keep the city. The watchman waketh, but in vain.
So now these are things you have to think of, but as to why. Because many people hear that and say, all right, it's just what it is, what it is. Oh, if we got the best, shoot, that's still the best. We still good. It's going to succeed. If you get some right people, you know the money game, you good. Get some right people, what you mean? You get all the right sisters know how to cook, you good. All the right sisters teach the kids, you good. It's bigger than that. Because when you're dealing with, except the Lord built the house, you're dealing with righteousness. You look at all these other movies we had great leaders. We had great influencers, both male and female, black and Latino. But all these movements failed in the end to accomplish the goal of successfully liberating our people. Because they weren't founded upon the Most High. And some of these things are quite simple. Where you don't have rights, even if you have something that is good or a good attribute, you can have people who are great in understanding finances. But if these people are corrupt, then the situation is not going to last. You can have women who are great educators of the children, but if the situation is where these women gossip and tell but murmur, the situation isn't going to last. You can have situations where you can have people who are great in whatever their craft is, but if they aren't in a place to where they're exercising the scripture, there is going to be, at some point in time, a conflict that is going to lead to the end result of all these things failing. Get Sirach chapter 34 and verse 23.
The book of Sirach 34, verse 23. When one buildeth and another pulleth down, what profit have they but labor?
So now, that's one of the biggest problems that you're going to have. You're going to have one who is trying to build, or you can have many that are trying to build, but you're still going to have others that are going to try to pull down at the same time because they're trying to build something else. You ever get in a place, you ever watch a kid, one of them trying to build one thing. I'm trying to make a rocket ship. You know, and they need the Legos to build a rocket ship. I'm trying to build a rocket ship. And then the other sibling, the other kid, like, but I want to build a house. I don't want to build a rocket ship. Here, I need the Legos. No, it's mine. Sister, I need it. Brother, I need it. I need to build a rocket ship. I'm trying to build a house. You ever see that? For those who got more than one kid, that's how the situation will be. When we get the finance, we come together, we can finally restore the community. Well, I believe we should go ahead and we should build this. We should have this. You know, well, I believe we should build and have this. Well, I believe we should kind of build and focus on this. One build, another pull it down. You won't be able to build successfully. Always get tore down. And then it'll always lead to some form of a schism or dissension. You have to make sure everyone that you are building with that put their hands to the plow that you guys are on one accord. Having a business alliance or partners in any institution need to be a literal business. Government organization is only as successful as the people you're laboring with who also share in that same dream, vision, or aspiration. And this common dream, vision, or aspiration that we have is first and foremost has to be founded upon the laws. Get Sirach 5 and 5. We're going to get Sirach chapter 5, verse 5 through 7.
The book of Sirach 5, verse 5. Concerning propitiation, be not without fear. Salaki, be not without fear to add sin unto sin.
Concerning propitiation, propitiation is favor or pacifism. So it says concerning favor or pacifism, read.
Be not without fear to add sin unto sin.
Why? Read.
And say not, his mercy is great. He will be pacified for the multitude of my sins.
Because that's the thing we have to understand. No matter how much dirt or wickedness you may do and feel in your mind or heart and spirit that you're getting away with it or avoiding judgment or consequence, because a lot of times we just look at in the eyes of man that we feel we have to answer to, when the Most High sees all things that we covered earlier, beholding all the wickedness of man. So you're still never getting away. It's just a matter of time before it all catches up to you. It's like the best working boomerang in the world. You can throw it as far as you believe you can throw it, but it's all gonna come back to you eventually. You can run the other way. It's coming. Most of us said, nah, it got tracking and everything. It got fingerprint identification, biometric scanning, homing device, heat seeking, sin seeking. It got everything on anyway. Nah, it's coming. She be coming around the mountain when she come. It's coming. Yours might take a little longer than that, brothers and sisters, but it is going to come, and it's going to hit you. And the harder you think you run away from it, the harder it's going to come and hit you in the back of the neck. That's the way it's going to happen. You cannot outrun the Most High. So now, read on.
For mercy and wrath come from him.
That's the thing we got to know. It's a two-edged sword. Mercy on one side, wrath on the other side. It is together all with the Most High. I can hit you with either one. I can hit you with that mercy because people say, well, so-and-so did it. They ain't got hit like that. What? I gave him some mercy. I gave him mercy. Be quiet about it, you know. But this person, man, I seen they got hit with this other. That's because that person was out of mercy, you know, so they got judged. The Most High, the ultimate judge. He hits us in life, you know, events, circumstances. So now, read on.
And his indignation resteth upon sinners.
Is what?
His indignation resteth upon sinners.
So if his indignation and his wrath resteth upon sinners, how can you build then with sinners? You can't. If his indignation and wrath rested upon the homosexual, how can you get a movement and have the homosexual amongst you? If his indignation and wrath rest upon the whoremonger, how can you have the whoremonger building with you? So on and so forth. Every other thing the Most High explicitly speaks against, how can you then build with someone in that particular status? He said, well, look, one that doesn't provide or take care of his own is worse than an infidel. Infidel is an unbeliever. So if you have men and women who aren't providing for their children, he said that's just as much of an unbeliever. How can you build in with that person? They haven't even gotten the family that they put themselves in a place to make together. How then can you try to build the family, the bigger family that you're a part of? You're not even taking care of your in-house situation. How are you going to take care of the situation at large? That's like I'm in a place to where my finances are all messed up, but now I'm asking to be put in a place. I'm going to take care of the finances of an actual business organization. But mine is horrible. Would you trust me to do that? Hell no. So now I'm saying, I love you, I got your back, but I'm not providing for my own children. But I say I'll provide for yours. Yeah, there's something fishy about that. You know, something fishy, snake oil salesman. You know, I got to look into that. But that's how it is. That's why when a big part of organizing, you have to first start with righteousness. Like I said before, you can't look to build successfully any other way. It doesn't matter what. I don't care if someone said they got $1 million just for us to come together and have a business meeting and they'll, you know, write off the donation and such. No, it's not going to amount to anything if it ain't righteous. All it is going to add to more problems. Because now that we got it, now everything will shoot. I believe I should get some of this. We should believe we should do that. Just make it more problematic. We have to all be in solidarity on what the vision, the mission is, and how we're going to go about it. That's the only way it's going to succeed. So now, let's go ahead. Actually, continue reading.
Make no tarry to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security.
In thy what?
In thy security, thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance.
Man, those things really got to resonate in your spirit because, look, it's like, you know, in your security. We like to feel secure. We like to feel at peace. A lot of times we be at home, we done already, you know, ate then. Then you ever had, you know, good meal, you know, you ready to eat, and you sitting there eating, you be at peace. You be watching your show, whatever it is, you know, you watch, being up there, being at peace. You know, and imagine just all of a sudden, table got flipped over, things that they just out of nowhere. Just imagine, just boom. It just levitated, just flipped over. Just walk with me. Just, you'd be like, what the heck? Imagine someone just bust in, break your windows, whatever it is, trying to rob you at that point in time. You'd be like, what the heck? That's part of your security just got destroyed. What you thought you was good, it ain't really good. SWAT team just bust in and, you know, the midnight, you just, what? That's in your security. When you feel confident, you're okay. That's when the Most High gonna pull your coattail and say, I waited to ride about. You ever had it like, you ever get something for your kids, they wait right till you sit down and ask for some water? Be like, man, just what I thought I was gonna sit down, relax, and drink, you gonna ask for some water now. And your security. that was your security. He said in that moment, he said, look, kids got everything, they good. All right. Woo, I can sit down and eat. Baby, can I have some water? Gonna wait till I sit down to ask for someone. Didn't you just see me in the kitchen? In there for a past hour making dinner, preparing everything. You gonna ask me for now. Daddy, can I have some? Now, in your security, Most High, but it's gonna be worse. Most High come with judgment in your security. Just when you thought you was getting away, just when you thought you was getting off scot-free, Most High come in crashing the party. That's how it's gonna happen. That's how judgment gonna happen. Most High gonna have the biggest thug life situation in the sky, and that's when everybody knew they up. See meteors coming through the sky, see chariots coming out of nowhere. You're gonna see everybody's face like, damn. That's it, lost for word, well, it's just in. Looks like they were right. That's your, Mr. Postman. Nevertheless, let's continue. So let's get 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 12. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 12.
Book of 1 Peter 3, verse 12. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous.
Over the who?
Over the righteous.
Everybody.
Righteous.
Read.
And his ears are open unto their prayers.
That's where you want to be. You want to be in a place of righteousness so that the Most High is over you for your safety and your well-being and not your detriment. You want his ears open unto your prayers. When you look at all of our forefathers and foremothers who had favor of the Most High, it's because they not only tried to be righteous, they chose to be excellent in righteousness. A lot of us, we don't fight to be excellent right. We be like, it's good enough. All right. I did it. I feasted. I came. I wasn't that bad. We don't look to where, how can I perfect my craft? How can I be the best I can be? How can I make sure I keep any sort of wickedness away from me? And it can just come in a moment, even when you don't expect it. Even when you're not even looking for it. It's just brought forth to you. It happens all the time. Brother, sister, brother, man, I heard such and such, man, about, brother, I don't know what's going on, but, I just heard, things of that nature, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's like, well, go talk to that brother about it. Why are you telling me? That between y'all got to work that out. Well, I was just telling you, well, look, Matthew 18 says, go tell him it's fault between you and him. Have you done that yet? Well, nah, but I don't think, well, there's no buts. Scripture don't give a but. You have to do that. You come to me or two or three witnesses when that person does not do that. You have to give that person that chance. Otherwise, you jump in the order and protocol. So it's different if you're saying as far as now, if you're coming to me, then now a situation where advice, I have to advise you of what to do properly, and then now I'm going to ask you. So I'm going to ask, did you go talk to that brother? You go talk to that sister? Things of that nature. So those things come up easy, but you have a choice, an option. Everything comes in a moment to where do you now partake in someone else's wickedness, and now you caught up in venting and talebearing and murmuring and all this other stuff, or did you guide that person right on what to do in the situation? They ask for counsel. Okay, cool. I'll give you righteous counsel on what to do, and then I'm going to check on you. You talk to that brother? You talk to that sister? But now, well, let me help you go ahead and talk to that brother or sister. Hey, make sure you call so-and-so. I'll call him for, hey, so-and-so got to talk to you. They got an issue, make sure you talk to them. That's it. And make sure you hold that person accountable. But it can sneak up on you just that easily. And now, next thing you know, you caught up in a situation. So, now, read on.
For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
It's for them?
Against them that do evil.
So the Most High, his face is against them that do evil. So now, once again, if what benefit would it be for me to be in a situation of continual dwelling, business, or investment in those who are walking contrary unto the Most High when the Most High is not dealing with those people? When the Most High is not only not dealing with them, but against them. We forget that. Just that easy. What does it look like me being aligned with individuals who the Most High is against? And he specifies his indignation and wrath resteth upon sinners. It's no different than the flood. Flood came for the wicked, not the righteous. But the righteous were very small numbers at that point in time. And we forget so fast to where the Most High is like, look, numbers don't matter to me. I'm going to deal with everyone who is righteous, even if it's just, in consideration of flood, just 8 people. I'm going to kill everyone else in the world but save 8 people. We forget the world was not like, man, it's only like 50 people in the world. No, the world was populated. The world was fully populated. He destroyed that whole world at that point in time. All the people, and saved 8. Most High is here when he said, look, I am saving the righteous. No matter how many, how few, I'm saving them. Once again, same thing with Sodom and Gomorrah. Who all did he save out of Sodom and Gomorrah? 3 people. When he destroyed that city. You look at cities, think about how big like Los Angeles is. Imagine Most High come to destroy just the city of Los Angeles, only saved 3 people out of this whole city. Like, that's the reality that we have to look at. He only saved those 3 people out of that city. I would say 4, you could say 4, but the wife looked back. So she didn't get saved fully. She got caught up missing her loved ones she left behind. And it's cool, the loved ones, mama, daddy, sister, uncle, auntie, best friend, you know, yeah, we have those feelings, but the Most High did that intentionally to see if you're going to let them feelings get caught up. Most High said, look, facts over feelings, righteousness over evil. Big mama raised, but big mama ain't right. She getting put to death if she don't repent. That's how the Most High cut it. For him, all flesh is grass. He put all these things delivered, because many people are like, how come my whole family ain't in truth? How come they ain't waking up? Because I need to test you. I need to see you love mother, father, sister, brother, son, daughter more than me. You're going to go with them. They go left, you're going to go right along with them. That's all part of the test. So it don't mean nothing to him. He deliberately said, like, we forget, like, this whole thing is a test. He deliberately did that. It wasn't like an accident or coincidence. He got to see who you love. We forget, like, our spirits and our souls have been in this world many times. You've had different mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. Every time he brings you with a new set. So it ain't nothing. He said, now wait till your spirit remember all the mothers and fathers you had. All the brothers and sisters you've had. But you ain't worried about them. You know why? Because ain't no memory of it. You don't remember bonds, connection with them. I got you. So you don't remember bonds, connection, or things of that nature that you had with them. So it's easy. Now they say you can't miss what you never had, right? But in this case, we never had it in the flesh, so the flesh don't miss it. Because everything we miss here is according to the flesh, not the spirit. So now, from there, that was all of that, right? So now get Amos 3:3.
The book of Amos 3, verse 3. Can 2 walk together except they be agreed?
So that's the thing. Can 2 walk together except they be agreed? Answer, nope. They're not. You can look at our nation. We're not in agreement on who our enemy is. let alone how to even eliminate our enemy. And then we can even play devil's advocate. We all agree who our enemy is. It's all Esau. But what happens once you eliminate the threat? If you don't have righteousness, you become the threat. Then it becomes intertribal warfare because you don't have righteousness. Because now then it becomes to where, yeah, we got our government, and we're trying to, everyone can do their own thing, but now we got a problem because I don't like the homosexual pushing their beliefs in our schools. But now over this side saying, well, they all got to have rights, we're all people. Well, I don't like how they're pushing this on, our children. Intertribal warfare. Just that easy, just with not fixing one thing. But at the time, we was all good because we was all fighting for a common cause. You got to have righteousness in totality. It comes as a package deal, not a piece here and there. You can't want to, let's go ahead and kill the murderer, but then we don't do nothing about the homosexual. It's not a bag of trail mix. You just pick out the pieces you like, and then the rest can just go somewhere. You got to have righteousness as a whole. Repentance as a whole. So now from there, get Matthew 10 and 34. The book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34.
Think not that I come to send peace on earth.
See, that's the thing we get misconstrued. He said, look, think not that I came to send peace on earth. But read.
I came not to send peace, but a sword.
He said, look, I came not to send peace. We get from G1515, meaning rest or quietness. I did not come to send rest or quietness upon this earth. But he said, but I came to send a sword. Come from G3162. When he says I come to send a sword, I came to send war. I came to send the opposite of that rest, that quiet, peace. That is war. This is wartime. Now from there, get Ephesians 6 and 12. And we got to understand how this war is being fought. Look.
The book of Ephesians 6, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
It's Ephesians 6 and 12.
Salakia 5 and 12. 6 and 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities.
So he said, look, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what?
But against principalities.
Against principalities. A lot of times he's saying it ain't flesh and blood, but then we automatically read the rest of it, we think flesh and blood. It's not about flesh and blood. Principalities. What types of principalities are we looking at? One of the principalities, you get G756. One of the principalities is time. Time is against us in the time that we're living in. Time is one of the principalities, one of the things. Then you're also dealing with, too, the principalities of this world, the legions of angels of this world. Read on.
But against principalities, against powers.
Against powers, G1849. Privileges, freedom, influences of spirits. Influences of these spirits upon us and how we act and react. Read on.
Against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
The rulers of darkness in this world is Satan. That's who you did. All this whole thing is spiritual. A lot of times, really, we think principality, we think, governments and powers, we think rulers, and we think, rulers of darkness got to be, whole thing. Government, that's not what it's dealing with at all. It's dealing literally, it's all spiritual. And that's what I'm about to get. It's all dealing with spirit. Like you said, none of the fight is against flesh and blood. It's all against spiritual warfare. This is all spiritual warfare. I'm going to explain. Get Matthew 8 and 28. These are the powers moving in this world. Get Matthew 8 and 28.
Book of Matthew 8, verse 28. And when he was come to the other side in the Salakia, and when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gargashans, there met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by that way.
Read on.
And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with thee, Jesus, the Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time?
Because they understand that this is their time to rule. Devils said they're not going to exist in the kingdom. This is their world. This is their time to rule. These are the spirit. These are the principalities. These are the rulers of darkness in high places. That is what you're fighting against. That's what he said. You come to torment us before the time. They knew who he was, and they addressed him as such. Because that spirit knew, those spirits that were dwelling in these particular individuals. So now, from there, get Ephesians, and let's read, go back to Ephesians chapter 6. Let's read 11 through 13 in context.
The book of Ephesians 6, verse 11. Put on the whole armor of the Most High.
Now notice it's saying put on the whole armor of the Most High. This armor is spiritual. Read on.
That ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
That's what it's all about, standing against the wiles or the wills of the devil. Read on.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Because this is what he's letting know. Look, it's not a physical battle that we're truly fighting against. It is a spiritual battle that you're fighting against. Read on.
But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Read on.
Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand.
Read on.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Read verse 17.
And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High.
That is how you overcome and you're able to fight and win against that spiritual wickedness in high places. You need all of those components. That is what it is that it's talking about when it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, rulers of the darkness in this world. You're fighting against Satan. He's the one running everything. So now get Matthew 10, 34 through 39. And so now fighting against Satan, you have to make sure that you're not building with Satan. Matthew 10, 34 through 39.
Book of Matthew 10, verse 34. Think not that I come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father.
So this is the war. This is going back to that sword and that war that he was making reference for. This is a spiritual warfare. Read on.
And the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Because that's what he's letting you know. Look, all these things These are all close relations to you. People you love, you care about, because you have physical and spiritual attachments to. You're either in a place to where your feelings are knit with these people, or the connection who you see all the time. So you're caught up in the fleshly appearance. This person is, I've grown up knowing this person, grown up being close, whatever it is. Most High understands that. It knows that that is what can be a stumbling block, which can cause you to go away from him. So then he says, why then put that there in front of me? Because this is all a test. Like I said, this has all been a test. That's all it is. Like, this is the foundation. Everything we do, it's all vanity. It's all a test to prove your worth with the Most High. That's it. It's all there to see. Is that going to cause you to stumble just because your son and daughter goes a different way? Your mother, father goes a different way. Brothers, it's all there to trip you up. Because for the Most High, all flesh is grass. And that is part of that spiritual battle. That spirit has to fight against that other spirit. So, or as we know, either that righteous spirit versus the wicked spirit, or we know either the spirit to be of the Most High and the flesh being of Satan. So spirit fighting the flesh in that regard. That's the battle that we have. That's the biggest thing that we have to get past and that we have to make sure we're getting on track with. So now, from there, go ahead and get Luke 22 and 3. Oh yeah, get 39 and then Luke 22 and 3.
He that findeth his life shall lose it. And
so now, what does it mean that he that findeth his life shall lose it? We look at one finding his life, that means one who is trying to chase this world. You are trying to live peacefully in this world. You're fighting for your riches in this world. You're fighting, for your career in this world, instead of focusing on the world to come. We get so easily caught up to where in our day-to-days where we start to lose focus of the mission and the goal. And that's where we have to know how to organize, know what it is we're mobilizing for. Everything has to be based upon righteousness. Read on.
He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
Losing your life in this world, losing your dreams and aspirations in this world, you shall find your true dreams and aspirations with the Most High in the world to come. That's what it's looking at. You have to let the flesh go so that the spirit can live. So now from there, let's go ahead and get 1 Samuel 28 and 3. Everybody following? Good.
Book of 1 Samuel 28 and verse 3. Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel had lamented him, and buried him in Ramah, even in his own city. And Saul had put away those that had familiar spirits and wizards out of the land.
That was an enactment of Saul trying to go about and establishing righteousness. You have to be focused on establishing righteousness, although he later fell away, but he knew and understood what the scriptures deal with. He was upright and trying to move right to everything he did. Made sure, look, we have to expel all the wicked and those who are not trying to do right. You cannot have them in your kingdom and expect to thrive in righteousness with wickedness amongst you. Repent or be removed. That's the thing that he tried to establish within his kingdom. Get Deuteronomy 7, 1 through 6. That's what the Most High requires of us. Deuteronomy 7, 1 through 6.
The book of Deuteronomy 7, verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites, and the Amorites and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Most High was giving us a commandment. Well, we're going to go take the land of Canaan and possess it and have that land as Israel. He said, look, make sure that these nations, which are many and greater than you, read on.
And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter shalt thou not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
All of these things were for the preservation of righteousness. Many people see it, and that just seems so cruel. And also I said, look, if you do not do these things and establish yourself as a government and as a nation above these people, they are going to root you out. These nations are greater and stronger, mightier than you. They're moving in wickedness. If you're in a place to where you're either going to be in a place, and the Most High to always make it clear, you cannot allow the other nation to influence you. You must be the influence to the other nations. But we always chose to have the other nation influence us, and we fall into wickedness. We haven't chose to righteously make it to where the other nations follow us. We've always followed them along with their wickedness. They keeping Christmas, we keeping Christmas too. They keeping New Year's at this time, why don't we do it at that time? We should keep it that way too. They keeping Thanksgiving, let's keep Thanksgiving too. They keeping 4th of July, let's keep 4th of July too. All of those things, Moses said, look, this is why I told y'all need to get rid of them. Don't be amongst, they don't need to be amongst, y'all got to get right. Read on.
But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images, and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
That's how he told us to deal with them. Give 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 67. 67 to 68. Because even then, when we did go out to it, we did go fight, how did we do it? Give 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 67 and 68.
Masad. I ain't borrow your piece. Guess I'm missing more. Salaki.
You can read about it. He said, got the whole verse missing. He said, I told you stop eating chocolate when you try to read the book, all right? You smudges.
First Maccabees 6, right?
First Maccabees chapter 2.
Salakia 2 and 60.
67 to verse 68.
First Maccabees 2, verse 67. Am I tripping? Oh, Salakia, fams. There we go. Verse 67. Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandment of the law.
So he said, look, take also unto you all those that observe the law. That's who you take with you. And then you choose to avenge ye the wrong of your people. Otherwise, you won't be able to have success. I don't care. You can take whoever the fastest person out there, you know, if they're not keeping the law, then they're going to be slow. They ain't going to do us no good. You take the best shooter, Martin, whoever it is, you know, whatever, man, killer, you know, if they ain't keeping the law, ain't going to do us no good. You know, the best ain't going to do you no good if the best ain't done in righteousness. It is only going to get you in a place where it's getting put to death. That's where it has always got us. Because the Most High, he gives us our strength. He gives us our skill and our ability. Most High first of all of us are replaceable. And the Most High, he's spiritual. He said, I will strengthen your spirit. And I will strengthen your spirit so much that it will overcome the limitations of the flesh. That is the power of the Spirit. That is the power of the Most High. That's what he did with Christ. Then Christ was able to heal these people and walk on water, do all these things. He said, look, it's all the Spirit. Even this flesh is what limits us. You learn more control and mastery over the Spirit, you will have more mastery over the flesh. Get right spiritually, and you'll be able to conquer things physically. That's what it is that he teaches. That's how it works. That's how the transition of organization and mobilization works. Organize on righteousness, and then you'll be able to mobilize righteously. Whenever and if needed. So now, let's go ahead. Yeah, continue that. Actually, yeah, continue that. Verse 68.
Verse 68. Recompense fully the heathen and take heed to the commandments of the law.
So now, let's get Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Deuteronomy 4, 5 through 6.
Book of Deuteronomy 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
So the law is what puts us in a place of having wisdom and as well as having great understanding. Because he said, look, Moses speaking, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. You have to have statutes and judgments. These statutes are the laws. The judgments are the consequences for breaking those laws. If you do not have that, you're going to have disorder. A lot of people may not like that because they don't like to ruffle feathers. We don't like to say nothing. But all of that mindset is what put us in captivity. The mindset of, I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to ruffle feathers. That mindset is what got us in the situation that we're in. To just be pacified to the situation. When that's never been how the Most High's work. Everything has been, he did it from the foundation. You are your brother and your sister's keeper. You have to stand up and speak out for righteousness and speak against wickedness. Get Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 4. This is why. This is just understanding something when you don't do this. Get Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 4.
Book of Habakkuk 1 and verse 4. Therefore, the law is slack.
Wait, so it says, therefore, the law is slacked. The law is slacked. How is the law slacked? The law becomes slack when it is not enforced. Who are the enforcers? The children of Israel. All of us are the enforcers of the law. When we are not enforcing that law, read on.
Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doth never go forth.
You're having a place to where there then becomes a lack of judgment. Judgment is not only what one believes to be formal decisions as far as rendering judgment, putting someone to death, or heavy consequences in that regard. Judgment is decisions. Righteous decision making on what the situation actually is. Too many things that we're a part of, but we let slide. We don't say anything. Therefore, the law is slack. So you allow the situation to fester. And you allow wickedness to thrive in that environment that we all play a part of. Because either you said something, you addressed it, or you didn't. Ain't no in between. And even if you didn't say something, did you follow up with such individual and let them know, hey, this is what you did wrong. This is what you need to do in that situation. And it can be a burden. But it's the burden the Most High requires for all of us. Otherwise, the only way you can escape it is not being in the picture at all. And that's what some people may even choose to do is, man, I'll just hang out with person B and C. That's it. And I'm person A. Just, I can control that. Outside of that, I don't want to be held accountable. So, now read on.
For the wicked doth compass about the righteous.
So now how does that happen? When you don't have the place of enforcement as a nation of people, then it's going to lead to where righteous judgment does never go forth, and you're going to have it to where the wicked will start to compass about the righteous. To compass it or surround, in this case, the wicked will start to surround and engulf the righteous to where righteousness can't go forth because of wickedness going forth. And wickedness being the majority, so that righteousness gets puffed out and put out. Now you become wrong for speaking out against what's right. And then what happens, read?
Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth.
And the final outcome will be wrong judgment proceedeth. And people deal with things wrong. And which leads us to a place of wickedness, and hence we are. That's the domino effect. So how do you reverse that? Teach the people righteousness. Teach them how to be. Make sure you teach the people to enforce that righteousness. Stand up for that righteousness. Speak out when you see unrighteousness. Don't turn the blind eye, because now if you turn that blind eye, you're supporting wickedness. People think just because they don't say nothing, like that's all good. Not saying anything is just as bad as you saying the wrong thing, because you allowed it to fester. It's no different than in a situation where me operating in a place as one of the parents telling my children not to do this, and they honor that when they're around me, but then when they're around the other parent and the parent watches them do the very thing I told them not to do, but the other parent keeps their mouth closed and does not say anything, the children will then seem as if it must be acceptable. And then we try to address the parent, well, why you just let them do it? Well, I didn't say nothing. You know, I thought you addressed it. Well, you just let them do it so they think it's okay. You have to address it. Otherwise, and that's no different than what Israel does as still children of Israel, but adults, we still think like children. So it's a mindset we still, well, so-and-so was there, they ain't say nothing. That's the mindset of our people. Because we try to find a cop-out or a scapegoat. Brother so-and-so, they ain't say nothing. Sister so-and-so was there, they ain't say nothing. And you'll just be part of the cop-out. Well, you was there, you didn't say nothing. Well, well, you was there, you ain't say nothing, you ain't speak up, so must have been all right, you didn't have a problem with it. That's the way it goes. That is the way it explicitly goes. That's why everything the Most High does is speak unto the children of Israel. Don't just sit there, don't just stand there, speak. Open your mouth. Let words come out and declare where it is that you stand with these things. Everything the Most High is speak unto them, show them, tell them, warn them. Everything he's shooting us is a verb. You have to take action, not silence. That's how the Most High has always dealt with us and tried to get us to understand, but that is the thing we do not want to do, because I get it. It is not a glorious thing, because a lot of we don't want drama, we don't want problems. But not wanting the problems is in a place of speaking out against the problems, not remaining silent with them. Otherwise, that's how they grow. We don't address the issues do not go away. They continue to grow and get worse. I say again, especially for those, it doesn't matter any relationship with your kids, with your spouse, whatever. If you do not address the issues, they will not get solved. They don't just all of a sudden go away and just issues were gone now. That doesn't happen. You have to bring it out, properly address it in order for things to move on and get better. That is what the Most High has been teaching us. Righteousness works the same way. You can't just expect wickedness was there, all of a sudden righteousness just creeps in and just look, it's right now. That's not the way it's going to work. To organize in righteousness, it deals with speaking out against it. Speaking out against the wickedness that's going on in order for righteousness to take its place. The sooner we understand that, the sooner we can then have success in truly building and becoming the nation the Most High needs and wants us to be. That's it. That's all we need to do. You know. And then from there, get Psalms 119, 165. This is what the Most High says. It's Psalms 119 and 165.
Book of Psalms 119, verse 165. Great peace.
Whoa, wait, hold up. Read that again.
Great peace.
It says great peace. Not just a little bit of peace, not kind of peace. It says great peace. Read.
Great peace have they which love thy law.
Which loathe thy law.
Which love thy law.
Which love thy law. A lot of us haven't gotten to a place where we love the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So many things, I don't like that, and we be fighting against. But it says you will have great peace when you submit finally to a place to where you love his laws. Read.
And nothing shall offend them.
Why would nothing offend me? Because at the end of the day, if it is founded upon the scriptures, then it is right. My feelings are then disannulled based upon what is right versus what is wrong. It does not matter if I believe, I feel, I think, my opinion versus what thus saith the Lord needs to be done. We are not greater than the Most High. So how can we put ourselves in a place to think or believe we're greater than the Most High? Because that's what you do anytime you try to put forth, this is my opinion, this is how I see, this is how I feel, versus what the scriptures actually say. And that's on any level. That's on any level. It's no different in a place to where brothers are saying, I'm not being humble, I'm being humble. Look, you know, it's like, man, you know, greater than humble yourself, you know, things. I ain't got to be humble. Whatever. I got to evaluate, say, all right, look, I'm not being as humble in the situation. You're right. And being a little loud, and being a little boastful. Let me go ahead, calm down, and better address the situation, you know, if that's the case. And that's where it says nothing shall offend you when we move to right, because your goal is, when you move to right, you want to be corrected. Because if I'm not doing the right thing, let me know. Or if there's a better way for me to go about it, let me know so I can make that correction for the sake of my salvation. That's what the scripture says. It says warn them. So did you warn me? Or did you warn that brother or that sister to save them? If you did not, then the Most High is holding you accountable, and you even worse because you ain't said nothing. You just let it be. And that is hate, according to the Most High. Let's get Acts 8 and 30. Guess all these other parts I have, this will all be, guess I have another lesson, the keys to successful rulership. I don't know, I'll think of something. So.
Book of Acts 8, verse 30. Mm-hmm. And Philip ran thither to him, and heard him read the prophet Isaiah, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest? Mm-hmm. And he said, How can I, except some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him.
So there's a lot going on there. So read it again from the top.
And Philip ran thither to him, and heard him read the prophet Isaiah, and said.
So now he was hearing him read, and he went up and asked him, read.
Understandest thou what thou readest?
He said, look, I hear you reading, but do you comprehend what it is you're reading? Do you truly understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Read on.
And he said, how can I, except some man should guide me?
Said, look, how can I, except some man, some individual shall be there to help guide me, to give me that understanding? Which you need a teacher. You need someone to help you navigate the understanding of what these things are saying. Read on.
And he desired Philip.
And he what?
Desire Philip.
But you have to have that desire to allow someone to be that unto you. You have to submit unto someone to be there to build that hedge for you. Read on.
And he desired Philip, Salakia.
They will
And he,
come up.
and he desired Philip that he will come up and sit with him.
From there, get Exodus chapter 18 and verse 21. It's going to be the beginning and the end. The end of this and the beginning of the next. That I'll do on these things. Get Exodus 18 and 21.
The book of Exodus 18, verse 21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear the Most High, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of tens.
Now he said, look, provide out of all the people able. Man, these people have to be able, capable, such as fear the Most High. Fearing him is keeping his laws. Men of truth, men of the law, hating covetousness, and placing such over them to be in a place of government, rulership, leadership over the people. That's the prerequisite that comes with leading or governing the people. So now, from there, let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 9.
The book of Ecclesiastes 8, verse 9. All this have I seen, and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherewith one man ruleth over another to his own hurt.
Otherwise, if you don't have that, you have a situation where you can have those who rule over others, but to their own hurt, to their own detriment. So now from there, get 2 Samuel 23 and 3. Because not only can it be to your own hurt, but to the hurt of others.
2 Samuel 23, verse 3. The God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just.
Said, look, he that ruleth over men must be what?
Must be just.
Must be just. Read on.
Ruling in the fear of the Most High.
Ruling in the fear of the Most High. They're not ruling in the fear of the Most High, then it's going to lead to a situation where whatever is built is going to become destroyed. Because some point in time, because righteousness isn't continuing, sin takes its place, and the Most High cannot prosper in a place where there is sin and iniquity. From there, let's go ahead and get Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8. And this is what has happened to us.
The book of Sirach 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
So because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. We got to watch our dealing. Unrighteous dealing has so many different levels. You know, how we deal has to be righteous, how we deal with one another, how we speak to one another, business with one another, friendships, brotherhood, sisterhood with one another. Otherwise, if we're not doing those things righteously, it's going to lead to unrighteous dealings. Same thing when it comes down to injuries. Injuries need to be physical or spiritual. How we do the things that we do and do not do, we cause harm to individuals. And that harm leads to more harm and more damage. You hurt the flock. And any one of us can hurt the flock. Do what it is that we say we do and how we treat others. And all of these things are going to lead to the kingdom being translated from one people to another. Because that's the state how it has been throughout history.